Hi guys, welcome to Zen Zone Fantasy. We're back with another episode. Question of the day is going to be something off topic of football. Do you meditate? Drop a quick comment with your experience. I'll read my favorites next episode. If you do leave a comment, make sure to subscribe as well. But yeah, do you meditate? Do you take a couple minutes to reset yourself if you're having a tough day or a tough time at work? I've been using meditation since I was younger. My aunt actually does holotropic breath work as well. So I was really, you know, growing up with meditation as a way to reset yourself, calm yourself, and to, just really calm your mind. I think that's a good thing. We're living in a world where it's crazy. Things are going on. It's hot. It's cold. Whatever you're going through. If you're sick, you have a chronic illness or anything like that. I think meditation will help you guys if you're, in the sense of struggling or suffering from mental health, as well as either chronic illness or, whatever the case may be, just having a bad day as well. A quick 5 minutes, even 3 minutes, just to, really focus on your breath. That's the key. And making sure you let anything that goes in your mind come out of your mind. Don't hold on to stuff, guys. Sometimes I look at it as like a train, and each section of the train is memories or things that pop up throughout the time of myself meditating. So I just let that train keep moving, and experience the emotions you feel with all those things that that happens during that meditation. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be yourself. So, question of the day, like I said, guys, do you meditate? Let me know in the comments. Other than that, let's start the episode off. We got waiver wire, injury report, and news. Here we go. All right, guys. So injury report. This is this week's injury report. As you see, today we have the game going on between the Ravens and the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson is playing. If you have Lamar Jackson, you picked him up in your draft. Good job. You guys did it. You guys survived the 3 weeks he didn't play. And let's see if they can make a run. If you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, I'd be feeling pretty good about yourself because they are going to go on a tear. They're 2-5. They need to get wins. They need wins in order to get to and push for a playoff spot. I expect them to really just blow the roof off of this offense, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, to where they're going to give you guys that top 5 running back and quarterback points per game. Another sad one is Cam Scatman Scataboo, my guy. He did have a successful surgery on that ankle injury. Will he bring value, though, to your 2026 fantasy team? I don't know exactly right off the bat. If you look at Chris Godwin and some of these injuries that have happened, sort of like Cam Scataboo's, they take a while to get back up to par. So I wouldn't, say go get Cam Scataboo in the first 3 rounds of your draft. I think wait a little bit next year, see how he goes through progression, reamping himself up. Is he going to play preseason? There's a lot of things that come into question. So Cam Scataboo, he was doing well for you this season. Hopefully he can have a better sophomore season, and you guys get to use him a full season as well if you draft him. I'll be looking for Cam Scataboo, in my next year's draft. I think he has shown me he can do things that other running backs aren't getting to do, thus catching and running the ball. You look at Quinton Judkins, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, a.k.a. Bill. These guys are only receiving carries, guys. They're not receiving any passing work, which makes it hard to decide if they're worth a start or even if they're worth consideration to be on your team. Those types of running backs are hard to get. You look at Chase Brown. You look at when he was playing Mixon. You look at another guy, James Cook sometimes. Christian McCaffrey, the renowned, running back that does it all. Those are the top running backs that I like. Those are running backs I enjoy getting on my team because they get that passing and running work, whereas you're only getting one side of things if you go with a straight Judkins or Nick Chubb style, things like that. Brock Purdy, he was limited in practice yesterday and today, guys. So it looks like he may be back for you guys in the starting lineup. I have him on my fantasy team as well. Very excited if he does come to play. However, I want to see if he can keep his production going, if he can be a better version of himself after the injury and before the injury, too. He was doing decent numbers last season, but I want to see that uptick in his progression. He will have Jawan Jennings, and I believe, yes, I know, I made a mistake. I told you guys to drop Jawan Jennings, aka Frankenstein, but it seems like he's the Frankenstein monster and will be receiving a high amount of targets with uh, Ricky Pearsall. Still no sign of when he'll come back. Is he practicing? He's not even on the practice field. We have no idea, and Kyle Shanahan is the worst at giving us news for his players, literally like Jim Harbaugh, worst at giving us news. We don't know until at least I say Saturday or the game of what's going to happen with Brock Purdy. And Jawan Jennings stock up for me for sure. With Brock Purdy coming back, he had that connection with him last season, so stock up for Jawan Jennings. Jaden Daniels, full participant in practice today and yesterday. Looks like he will be back after only missing that Chiefs game. So very excited to hear that. However, Terry McLaurin, he re-injured that quad on that amazing catch. It was great that he did that catch. Got you some fantasy points, but then you lose him for this week and the rest of the game last week against the Chiefs. So re-aggravating that quad. We'll see how he is week to week. But so far, Terry McLaurin is going to be out next week. Isaiah Pacheco, if you guys saw that hit, very gruesome, but no participants, no participation in this week so far. He's dealing with that MCL sprain. Chiefs say he's week to week. Usually, if it's a week to week basis, it's hard to keep him stashed on your offense. I believe if Isaiah Pacheco is on your offense, guys, he's not giving you that crazy amount of production. He didn't get you that 2 touchdowns. You got him stolen from Kareem Hunt. You got Bashard Smith coming into the line now of carries and work. I think Isaiah Pacheco could be a safe drop if you guys need to pick up another position and you're struggling or you got buys coming up. Other than that, last but not least, Drake London, limited with that hip injury yesterday and today. So we still, we're looking at him possibly making a start. However, with 2 limited practices, all we can do is cross our fingers and hope that they let him play. The offense for Atlanta Falcons looked horrible last game. Horrible. They played the Dolphins, who had the easiest defense to run against and play against, and they just shat the bed pretty much. So very sad to see that happen. Very inconsistent offensive production from the Atlanta Falcons, but we're hoping that Drake London will get back to healthy so you can have him in your starting lineups. So today's news, guys: Deontay Johnson, former Raven, Carolina Panther, Steeler, Texans, whatever you want to put him with. Deontay Johnson was cited at New York Giants tryouts due to the fact that they are heavily needing wide receivers. I mean, it's right there in clear blue. With Malik Neighbors out, Cam Scatman Scattaboo out. It's very sad. But yeah, Deontay Johnson was cited at a New York Giants. So Joe Flacco saving the 3 Musketeers, guys. This is my next topic in the news. I believe he has. For right now, though, he is dealing with an injury on his shoulder. He's been limited at practice. But Mr. Joe Flacco has been saving Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. Currently, Jamar Chase has been a top 5 wide receiver with Joe Flacco, and 21 points being his lowest total score since Joe Flacco joined. So, he's getting you back to where you picked Jamar Chase, number 1, in that first round, but he's playing like a top 5 wide receiver again. He's had 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games and getting 12 or more targets in each game since Joe Flacco came on the team. So that is high production, high power offense. Jamar Chase has been great. T is getting back to, he's in that area. Currently at a wide receiver 34 with only two 11-point games, and then that one 20-point game he gave us last week. He's been okay. It hasn't been great, but he's been okay. Chase Brown, same thing. He's getting back to his work, getting a touchdown finally last game, getting some receiving work, 20 points. He's coming out here, Joe Flacco, and getting these guys back on track to where we drafted them. So very high on that. And this ain't too crazy of news, but Tyler Shuck is now the Saints' new quarterback. So they're going to start the rookie, it looks like, guys. He does have the second hardest remaining roster for wide receivers. So if you have Chris Olave, we might see Rashid Shaheed get traded or Brandon Cooks. But if you guys have any of those picks, I would hope to get traded out because they have the second hardest rest of the season schedule for wide receivers. Rest of season rankings, guys, we're going to give you a little bit of what your players are predicted to look like in this second half of the season. This article is by Mike Clay, so he did put this out yesterday, and it's great information. Check it out. It's on ESPN. For right now, we're going to get into the Chargers wide receivers, top 5 easiest remaining schedule, guys. So if you guys got a piece of Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, Lab McConkey, we're looking at a top 5 easiest remaining schedule. Bengal running back Chase Brown should get another top 5 easiest remaining schedule for the rest of the season. However, the top 10 will be for our wide receivers for being the easiest for your Bengals. So very excited to see the Bengals running back and those wide receivers getting a little bit of load off their shoulders and coming back with a second half season that's going to be pretty stellar, hopefully, with the rest of the season rankings. Browns running backs, guys. Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Jerome Ford. If you guys got a piece of some Browns running backs, we have a top 3 easiest remaining rest of schedule. So next, Lions wide receivers, top 10 easiest. Packers running backs, top 10 easiest. Vikings wide receivers, easiest rest of the season, guys. So we're going to see Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison maybe give you some 30-point games, maybe give you some 20-point games. However, they are the number one for strength in the easiest rest of season schedule. Mahomes, however, Mr. Patrick Mahomes has the hardest remaining schedule for a quarterback. I think the first half of the season, it was around 22, 23. Check the article. It's pretty close to that. But yeah, he's at 32. So that means it's the hardest remaining schedule for a quarterback. Rams wide receivers, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, they're in the top 5 for hardest remaining rest of season schedule. So hopefully, Puka gets back to healthy, but Devontae Adams, I'd be a little bit scared about with this top 5 coming in and could be threatening the amount of production they've both given you at the start of this season. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're going to get a little bit of both. So the Baker Mayfield, the quarterback, he's got a top 2 hardest remaining schedule, so he's right behind Patrick Mahomes. However, the running backs will get the easiest schedule, top 3 for rest of the season, and the wide receivers will get the hardest. So, like I said, make sure you guys check out this article because it is very informative and will give you great notes and things to think about for who you're starting, who you're sitting, who you want to pick up in the waiver wire. I mean, this is the second half of the season where if you need to make a move, check this article out because it's great information. All right, guys, so we got the waiver wire coming up. We got on the list for now Bam Knight. He has the backfield to himself for this week only. We got Trey Benson looking to come back next week, coming off of IR. Look for him to lead in the carries against the bad Dallas defense, guys. They rank 31st in run defense. We've seen every running back run on them since they've been out. Trey Benson is expected to return in at least, like I said, next week or the following week. So for now, if you guys need a running back, Bam Knight is a good pickup for this week 9 against a bad Dallas D. Tajay Spears, he's another running back I would look at picking up on my rosters. I picked him up in a couple leagues just because, we don't know if Tony Pollard's getting traded. We've seen an uptick in his carries for Tajay Spears. The offense is bad, but he is maybe a flex consideration if you need it in deeper leagues, or like I said, if you're in dire need and you had three running backs go out and you drafted this person and that person. Whatever happened, I would recommend Tajay Spears being on your bench or starting him because he will see an uptick in production when Pollard leaves, and he's a good stash for now. Mr. Kayshon Boutte is next. He might be in your deeper leagues, but he is available in about 50% of other leagues. Touchdown in last three games, guys. He's getting a chemistry built with Drake May. Very excited to see that as well. The rookie quarterback is putting up stellar numbers. Ranking right now, I believe he's a top 5 quarterback. I haven't seen too much of him on TV, but I've seen enough to see he and Kayshon Boutte have some type of chemistry, and this should last. Yes, they still have Stephon Diggs, but Kayshon Boutte, he's a good one because the chemistry will not go away. Next is the obvious Tyrone Tracy. I think he's the biggest one with Cam Scatterwoo being out. He'll be the R1. We don't know how long. We've seen Singletary sometimes cut into his carries last season before Scatterwoo was drafted. So keep an eye on that. It's something if you need him, you need him. But I don't think you should put him in right off the bat unless it's dire need. Now, you want to see consistency, and having the third hardest rest in the remaining schedule for running backs is going to be a lot more difficult. So be careful for that when you pick up Tyrone Tracy, but he is a good waiver wire add since he will be the RB1. Next one is Mr. Troy Franklin. He has the 10th easiest remaining schedule for a wide receiver. So Bo Nix does have a hard schedule. I don't remember where he ranks, but I think he still is going to be riding this hot ride. Troy Franklin is going to be jumping on the train with him. They're going to be out here scoring touchdowns, getting yards after the catch. I think they're really getting into form now, these Denver Broncos, and Bo Nix and Troy Franklin. I've already shown you they have some type of chemistry where he's averaging at least 4 targets per game or at max 8 targets per game. So very excited to see that. I have a little share of Bo Nix in my lineups, and he's been stellar for me where I drafted him. So he's a big win for me. But other than that, guys, that's going to do it for us in this episode. I hope you guys enjoy the game tonight with the Ravens and Dolphins. Looks like it's about to start, and it has already started. If you have Lamar Jackson, like I said, give yourself a round of applause. If you guys do like the content I'm putting out or you want to see more of it, please follow, subscribe, like, comment wherever I'm at. I'm on TikTok as well. You'll find me at the same username that I'm using here. For now, this is Zen Zone Fantasy, and we'll be signing off.